Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. It's Virtual Book Club. Our last session of the year. We've been doing this is our fifth year, and we're going into our sixth. So this is every 2 weeks we meet up. Every month we read a new book. And then we've got like a system now where we vote and choose our next books in like a very democratic manner inside of a group chat. And we've got some lineup coming up here. Right now we're reading The World Played Chess, Robert Dugoni. And then we're in January, it's Processed People. Uh, processed,
Ultra processed people.
ultra processed people. Is it processed or processed?
Doesn't
Depends on
matter.
what, depends on what it depends on where you live.
Depends on which side of the pond you're from.
Yeah. You're on mute, Michelle.
That's because I'm eating, because I've been back to back all day. So I appreciate you, but I didn't want you to hear me chomping. How is
Man,
everybody?
eating is good during a virtual book club because you have to bring your own snacks, right? Because it's not like we have like a potluck where someone bakes and brings drinks and
Be kind of hard to share.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's totally allowed during virtual book club. Also, if you didn't read the book, that's allowed, and you can come to virtual book club and
I already had my ultra processed crackers.
oh, nice. You know what they say, you're going to become an ultra processed person.
I had leftover dim sum, Benita.
Oh,
Not so
yum.
not
Okay,
so not so ultra processed, but
now I'm like, yum. Yeah, no. Sometimes I have cravings for just the dim sum spare ribs, and so I get spare ribs and rice. 2 orders of spare ribs and rice.
oh yes, I actually just had some barbecue pork buns
Okay,
and egg tarts.
yum. Um, anyways, about something other than food. Okay, then our next book after that is 1929 by, is it Andrew Sorkin or Kevin Sorkin?
Andrew Ross Sorkin.
That's right, Andrew Ross Sorkin, who also wrote Too Big to Fail.
I think you're right. Yes.
Yeah, and like that was like one of those, we haven't read that book yet, but I think that's one of those iconic books where like a big corporation gets so big that they don't think they can go under, and then they do because of that arrogance or that cockiness. Hi, Aura.
Hey, how are you?
Hi,
Um,
Aura.
Hey,
I'll
how are you, Stefan?
and then
Steven.
Steven, I'm sorry.
it's the way it's spelled. um, I always forget the order of the books that we need. And after 1929, which is going to be really interesting because we're going to talk about, like the year 1929 and what were the things that were happening that kind of like echo what are happening now. And so I'm excited about that one. History lovers rejoice. And then after that, it's a fiction book again, and it's Hail Mary.
Project, depending on.
Oh right, I keep missing those words where we pronounce them differently. I was in a webinar yesterday, and apparently there's been no other time in like in our history, like where we've been alive, that the Canadian and American relationship has been so fragile. So I'm just trying to be sensitive.
And I think we know whose fault that probably is, but we're not going to have that conversation.
That's right. Yeah, we can say that in book club. We're allowed. And nobody's gonna kick each other off of book club.
We don't judge.
We don't judge. Okay. Um, can you please introduce yourselves while I go grab my coffee that's waiting on the counter for me?
I'll go first because I'm between bites. I'm having some lunch. I'm Michelle, and I live in Vermont, and I've been doing book club for what, a year, a little better than a year, and I absolutely love connecting with all of you.
Hey,
Hal,
I'm
go.
Aura. Oh, sorry, Hal. Go ahead.
Go.
I'm Aura Orally. I am with Blue Cargo, and I've been with the VBC for almost 2 years, I believe. And the books that we have had on our list have been fabulous. Very grateful to be part of this book club.
Hal Garin, participating from Central Florida. I started in book club in 2022, so about midway in 2022. So we've gone through quite a few great books for sure.
And lastly, I'm Stephen Eng. I've been participating in VBC since 2023, so about 2 years, and I've enjoyed all the selections that, that we've read, even though like a lot of them were different from what I'm used to reading. And I love participating because I work in a library and I get to share my love of books with everyone.
Yeah, that's fun.
Speaking of library, I was in my local library yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and as I've mentioned before, they always have these, friends of the library
Yes,
books
we have them too.
that are either going out of circulation, or people have donated books that they can't put on their shelves, and
Yep.
so normally it's $1 a hardback book and 50 cents for a paperback book, and they had 50% off
Yes.
for the holidays. And so the book that had been a bestseller, Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by Kevin McBride, they
Okay.
got the hardbound book. It's like pristine. Like it's like the person who turned it in must not have read it, for 50 cents.
Wow,
I
I'm
was doing a
so
Good
little
deal.
jealous.
in the parking lot.
I would take it. Why not?
I would have had the car running.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was that came up. I think Aura Lee suggested it last year, so maybe we that's another rule, is that you don't, when you have a that's fine, Aura Lee. When you have a book that you've suggested but it didn't make it through the vote, there's no harm in trying again. Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, we have very little rules for a book club, I think. And there's no and there's no one like really power tripping except for me. I insist on hosting it, so but
We
yeah,
insist on you hosting it, so it's fair.
It's a labor of love.
that's right. Um so like we're like really looking forward to people joining next year and doing that by coming to the LinkedIn page or Facebook or wherever, YouTube, and then following along in the audience and like listening to this discussion and then like thinking up what you could add to the discussion. It could be funny, it could be serious, it could be like challenging. We obviously need people to challenge us. We just like sit in our own little echo chamber here. Um, and the only time anyone gets challenged is when Hal goes off about a book and we have to defend it because he's a really hard rater.
And I
Um,
rated our current book a 5 out of 5.
wow, I know. I mean, and
I,
it deserves it. It deserves it. So, um, yeah. Would anyone like to do the summary of the book? I'm finished now, so
In the absence of anybody else talking, I'll certainly give it a shot. It is predominantly set in 1979, although it has references back to the Vietnam War in the 60s and in 2026, where the main character is a father. But the main thrust of the story is this 18-year-old man who, in an effort to try and raise money for college after graduating from high school, gets a job as basically a construction laborer and befriends a Vietnam vet who's suffering from PTSD, although at the time of their interactions, it wasn't really realized or diagnosed as that. And how the basically as the story evolves through flashbacks through a journal that the Vietnam vet had written, the interactions between these two, the 18-year-old man boy and the 30-year-old Vietnam vet, profoundly changes both of their lives.
yeah, and there also dips into the present day. I believe it was 2016, not yes, that's right, 2016, and where the main character Vince passes on the same wisdom that he learned from his friend William and his journal onto his son Bo.
Right.
Yeah, as if the story on passing on that torch, right? As if the story was some sort of manual for survival or something like that.
I think they were life lessons that really matured the main character, Vincenzo, really matured him as an 18-year-old and taught him life lessons about how to be a man, how to be a husband, and how to be a father.
Yeah, as if he, well, yeah, learning how to forgive, forgiveness as, something to live with and to let go. We had a private chat with Benita, and it's like let go, move forward, forgive, right?
Mhm.
Both on a personal level, it resonated
oh, right. Yeah,
here,
yeah.
and then
Aren't we wise?
was that.
Aren't we wise?
Yeah. Uh, and I think in that book that, those themes like,
Yeah.
forgiveness as a gift, right? The
Yeah.
forgiveness for ourselves, but also
Mhm.
for others, but also the fact um, to be able to let go and then move on, basically.
I guess, did everybody get a chance to finish it?
Mhm. I did. Anyone else?
Yeah, I did the
I
whole
finished.
audiobook. Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just saying that I finished it, and I tremendously enjoyed the Audible version.
Same. Really enjoyed it. I literally listened to it the whole weekend.
Yeah, Hal highly suggested that to us. And here's another thing that book club doesn't judge you on. is that you don't have to read a paper book to participate. A lot of us do the audio version, and a lot of us use the audio version and the written version and Kindle or whatever, simultaneously. Not on the same book, but on different books.
Yeah, I thought that, because the first time I listened to it, I had not physically read the book, although I got a copy from my library to refer to. um, and I was really blown away by the fact that you wouldn't necessarily pick up in reading the words in your own head. um, you know, when the two characters, because the author narrates all of the Vincent parts.
Right.
And then as William, the Vietnam vet, they're sharing the flashbacks from the journal of his Vietnam experiences, is a completely different um, performer, doing that voice.
Is it a
And
voice
and
actor?
the change in voice just, really made it,
Yeah.
to me, so much more engaging.
It was like theater. It was like theater. It was like, I don't know. I was gonna say live theater, but I mean, it's only live theater if you're imagining it in your head, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost like it was a play that
Yeah.
they were reading around that, like a table read, but
Mhm.
being like in it.
Yeah, in character, yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
was
like
cinematic.
Yes.
And
Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
oh, yeah, bless you. Yeah, and it just it speaks to like an important factor when when an author decides to do an audiobook, that is whether like the book should be narrated entirely in the author's own live voice, or whether it would make sense to hire out and recruit a professional voice actors, or in this case voice actors or actresses. Like, I think the author did a stellar job, you know, finding the right voice actors, because everything just works. Like, because even though with the flashbacks, like the voices like were different, it didn't feel jarring. It almost felt like it almost felt like different inflections, like represented the different stages of maturity and the different eras, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah. Um, what okay,
I have a
one
really quick question just
sure.
while we're on that. What was your favorite book that you've done in an audiobook where the author was the person reading?
It's too hard.
Too
I mean,
hard.
I would have to go with this one, Michelle. There
Yeah.
are, usually where you find the author narrating their own book, it's more typical with nonfiction than fiction.
Yeah.
From what
Right.
I've experienced, and there are a number of series um, that where the fiction author has done 10, 15, 20 or more books in an elongated series over years, like William Kent Kruger, C.J. Box, Craig Johnson. They all have, characters that they develop over, the lifetime. And, you become to expect that same actor performing the book, as opposed to what I would author narrating their own work. It's just different. They're trained, people, actors, who are hired because of the quality of their voice.
Yeah.
Maybe
What I
I
get confused is that when the same I'll call it voice actor, for lack of a better term, does a, two books of an author that I like, because I start getting confused because I start associating that voice with those characters, and that same voice now doing a different series. Like one of the examples I'll give is William Kent Kruger has this Corcoran O'Connor series, and early on his wife's name is Jo, J-O. And then, I also, the CJ Box series is voiced by the same one, and that's I can't think of the character right now, who's a Wyoming game warden, and his first name is Joe Pickett as the character. And I started hearing this, when I switched between the two books, and I was like, I couldn't get out of my head that I was almost listening to the same book from the same series, although it was completely different. We're being cat bombed.
Yeah, we're being cat bombed. Who is that, Aura? Oh, you're on
That
mute.
was that was Fonzie.
Fonzie.
Aw,
Is it because he's wearing his like black leathers?
Exactly.
So
Because
cute.
he was the cool one, and the cool one, the
Cool. Cats and dogs are also welcome at virtual book club. I don't really see any downside. Do you guys?
especially because they kind of listen those books with me.
Exactly. They know what's going on.
Yeah, they recognize the voice
Yeah,
or the voices.
they have their ideas. Yeah, no, Louis knows that when book club is going on, he's curled under the counter, sleeping.
It's because he really enjoys it as well.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, no, because he's relaxed, because I'm relaxed. Okay, so the one part that I wanted to talk about, that when I read, that was just like my heart sunk, was the part where William comes back from Vietnam, and he's walking through the city. He's going to the bar. The bartender won't serve him. He's just like thinking in his head, like, this isn't reality, people. Like, you're doing all these like first world things, and did you know there's other people across the seas that are like dying? Did you know that people's sons are being put in body bags and being shipped back? Like, you like, imagine how isolating that feels.
The anti-war sentiment in the U.S. about the Vietnam War, I mean, there were significant protests, and at the time, and the returning veterans from that war. I mean, they were spit on, they were called names,
Yeah.
baby killers. It wasn't their fault. They were
No.
sent. Most of them, those who didn't volunteer, which very few really volunteered, were drafted into that war. They weren't there by choice.
Right.
But it was the first war, arguably, where, we were, and as opposed to defending the country, the United States was trying to stop the spread of an idea, a political idea,
Right.
communism. And, so, people, going to fight that war and, not coming back, and the devastation that it had on families for, a war that was arguably just not really understood why we were even doing it.
Yeah. Thanks for
So,
giving more context to that.
yeah, I mean,
But
I
yeah,
was I was a kid when that was all going on.
yeah, how old were you?
Well, I mean, it was going on in the '60s and late '60s and early '70s, and I mean, I was 1968, where a lot of the references in the book, I was 8 years old.
Yeah, it's interesting to like roll back your memory banks and like I couldn't do that because I was like 4 years old. So,
Yeah,
um, but
this happened before my dad came to the U.S.
oh, okay. So your family is from Hong Kong, though, right?
Well, not to get off topic, but my dad is my mom. Well, my mom is from Peru. She's Peruvian born Chinese.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
I never knew that about you.
Yeah, because my dad came to the States in the 70s, and yeah, at the time that was like the height of the anti-Vietnam War sentiment.
Oh, cool. Does he ever talk about it?
No, no,
Mm.
no,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like it
Asians really don't like to talk about it.
no, and I think even if he did, it would be like one of those memories that he would rather forget about.
Yeah,
Yeah, as just as a lot of just as it seems a lot of this the vets that were mentioned in the book were reluctant to talk openly about their own experiences.
right. Ah, yeah, you can't imagine like for that to happen. Like William volunteered, but yeah, like I bet you he wished he hadn't.
Yeah, if he
Well,
didn't volunteer, he likely would have been drafted anyway. But um, sorry for spoiler alerts here, but there were three parts of the book that I thought, they all come in the latter half of the book that to me were just incredibly impactful. One was when William um, joins three others in combat who are basically, taking pot shots at what they believe to be an old woman working the rice field, and they were shooting to see who could hit them, and then William does and kills the person that they, and then when they went up and looked, it was actually a young boy, and how that
Yes.
young boy haunts him. To me, that was one very impactful part of the book. The second was when um, Bo, the son, Vincent's son, is playing in one of the more significant football games, and is pulled out because of a potential concussion. His father doesn't let him go back in, and then how that really created some friction, and then later, shortly thereafter, Bo's best friend and football buddy gets killed in a car accident.
Yep.
And then the third was when they get to the end and Vincent goes to try and visit William in Washington State, and he had just sold the house, just left. He left a letter to be mailed after the house was sold with the real estate agent, and what that messaging in that letter was, where William was basically thanking Vincent for being there for him, that it actually saved him all those
I
years ago.
loved that part. That was one of like this. If this was a movie, it's like I don't know.
It's the perfect ending to a
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. Everything about that porch, everything about that mood that the author described, I was just like, I don't know. I loved it.
Which what I want, because I had read the book previously. So when I said last week, because I didn't want to do spoilers, for those who hadn't finished it, where I made reference to the fact that there are some things that happen in the latter half of the book, where the groundwork gets laid in the first half, and then things start to really come together in the second half of the book. And those were three of the inflection points where things just really start to come together as to why you were told a lot of the stuff that happened up to that point.
Yeah, and I would also like apply the same thinking to the idea that to when William first told Vincent that he didn't know what it felt, what scared was, as in what it feels like to be scared.
Right.
And then in the latter half of the book, like Vincent experienced like that same sensation firsthand when his ass was trembling in that car ride.
Right. Yep. Yeah, the interaction where he goes, you don't know scared, and Vincent will say, yeah, I do. And he goes, no, no, you don't.
Yeah. Did it make did it make you think of anybody in your own lives that had such great impact on you? Like, have you ever had a William in your life?
Not exactly, but I did mention last week, I had, I thought about things I hadn't thought about in years because
Mhm.
when I was 17, I worked for 4 months as a construction laborer while I was in high school. And, so a lot of those references made me think back to some of those things. And, I mean, that was 1977. So you time setting it to 1979, where the book is set, and the references to, at the end of the job, at the end of every work day, the beers came out, you know, and I was offered the opportunity to join them, as if I was an adult, amongst them at 17. I didn't partake, but there was plenty of marijuana smoking on the job site.
What state was that?
Florida. I was in Tampa Bay area.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
But that was that time, that was that era. It was
Oh,
the
right.
late
Yeah, like
late
in the yeah,
70s.
yeah, it was like the hippies and all that, right? Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, we can't relate to that.
I know I'm an old guy, so I'm just glad I still
No,
have,
we need you.
you
We
know,
need you. We need
as long as I still have memories and I don't keep telling the same stories to the same people as if I've never told them to them before, I guess I'm.
No, we love that. No, Hal, seriously, like it wouldn't be the same without it. Like we need all perspectives from all generations.
No, it's enlightening to have like like multiple generations just sharing, just sharing this context. I find it helpful.
Yeah, we're not saying anything bad about the book club because, in workplaces, they're complaining that, the generations can't understand each other. It's another like feature of the book club that is hidden.
I think it's well represented.
Yeah.
So somebody that this whole book has been like kind of pinging me is my mom's middle brother was in the Vietnam War as a Marine, and he was lucky enough to be home after that, but then tragically died like 2 years later. And so
Oh.
I never got to meet him like obviously because I was born after, but he literally died like a month before my mom and dad's wedding and just was like, I can't make it to the wedding. And then he got in a car accident and died like when he was in the military, like still away. And I always think about it, I was like, what would he have been like as a person? Like I see my mom's older brother, my mom, and I'm just like, he was always sort of the wild kid. Like he got sent away as a child to like a camp for like wayward boys kind of thing. And we found one of his journals and like he just seemed like the coolest guy. Like you know, sneaking cigarettes and doing all this stuff like before he had been shipped off to be a Marine. So I often wonder if like the Marines saved him in a way, but then obviously his life was cut short even after like surviving the war, which seems like terrible. But
Well,
yeah, just it got me thinking about it.
was
About
it an accident or natural causes or
oh
like?
no, he got in a car accident. Like
Oh,
yeah, so it was just unfortunate, but I think, yeah, who knows on that. But he had already told my mom he couldn't make it to our wedding, which she found very weird, but that's a whole nother story. But she but yeah, he just died like, and you know, but only if you think about that, how 2 years later you just did all that stuff that we heard about in this book, and like through all those experiences and having had a rough growing up, and that maybe the military was a place of like belonging and like purpose and all that, and like you seemingly get yourself together and then 2 years later no longer be here. So it's kind of like, what? That's crazy. But it just, on a positive note, it got me thinking about the person that he was then, what he might have been had he, you know, survived to more of an adulthood. I mean, he died at age 27. So it's kind of like, wow, that's terrible. But um, at the same time, it's just been a place of intrigue. I know we plant flowers for him, like have been since I was a kid. Like we always do that on Memorial Day, but it's like that's kind of like the limit of, and like one photo of him, right? Of like his military photo. Like that's pretty much the only thing I have seared in my head is like, who does he look like? What is, you know, what's his thing? So it's just interesting.
Yep.
that's
So
cool.
many came back and then died from Agent Orange exposure.
At the
And
age of 40.
Right.
Well,
Oh
there you
man.
have it. Perhaps that would have even been, you know, who knows?
Was that uh yeah, like am I thinking of two different chemicals when I think of the palm and the Agent Orange? I can't remember. Like I don't know why that just came into my head. But I have a mentor or like a friend, somebody I can call a friend that I knew for like I think 20 years of my life, like from the time I was like because you know Asians have you working in their restaurants like my mom and my aunt and uncles, you know, Chinese restaurants.
Yep.
So cliche, but I worked in like a Western Chinese restaurant from the time I was 14. Yes, I know. Uh, I got paid under the table.
That's how it
You're
is.
not gonna arrest me now.
My mom did the same thing.
Yeah, Asians do that. They get you started young so that you have that work ethic. So I was working at 14, um, waiting on tables at this Western Chinese restaurant. It's like a place where in the mornings you had bacon and eggs and like grilled cheese sandwiches, but in the afternoons is like people ordered like their grilled cheese sandwich with their wonton soup. And there was this one guy that came in every Sunday because I worked Saturdays and Sundays. He came in every Sunday and he read like the paper, and it was kind of like my book club. It's like I think it's how I got started on this kind of thing. He we would discuss like headlines in the news, and he was like in finance. He worked for like a big shop, and then I think he got laid off or something. And then he started his own company. And this is from the time I was 14 to the time I was 28. So this is like how many years is that? Quite several years. And then he's the one that like I didn't go to university right after high school. I worked at Safeway and my aunt's restaurant. So he's kind of like the one that inspired me to go back to school and finish my undergrad as an adult. And, you know, like Asians aren't, Asians don't like back then, Asians weren't like supportive the way Caucasians are or like Westerners are of their children. It's like, here's your bowl of rice, here's your shelter. Now go work hard at school and do a good job or else. It's not like just try your hardest and you know we have your support. We're behind your back. They're not like that. So
No, nope, not really. I know firsthand.
yeah. So this guy, like, he probably didn't even know he had this impact on me. Um, I just started like if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today hosting a book club. I don't know, like would I still be at Safeway or I don't know. So he made a big impact on me in terms of like education and the arts and history. I hated history before. Um, but at one point in time, he was like a real overachiever, and he was in high finance, and then he started his own fund, and then he made it to the board at the museum, and
Oh
so
wow.
yeah, and so he would invite me sometimes, and there would be like talk, like these women were like, "Oh, he's totally with this younger Asian woman," but we would laugh about it because we knew we were just friends.
And he
Um,
was older, Benita?
yeah, I would say he was probably like 20 years older. Yeah, but I heard about his career and like his thoughts on finance and politics and economics all throughout my career, and I feel like that had a great impact on me. Like he lived through the .com. Yeah, so it made me think of, oh, Aura is back. I was just gonna tell you guys that Aura had to leave us.
Oh,
Why is my oh, okay, hold on a second here.
She's back.
Did your meeting end quickly?
Yeah.
Oh my
It
god.
was shorter than it was expected, and we kind of wrapped it up fast. So that's why I was like, I'm just gonna go back.
Yay. Yeah, because this is our last session for the year, and it's really like I don't know. I just feel like a sense of accomplishment um with the book club. Like it's so informal, and um sometimes it doesn't have to be like so formalized and structured for it to add value to your life and your career, right?
Yeah, aligned with that. Before I left, I had
Yeah,
I
tell
had
us
put a
about that.
note. I don't know if Benita shared with you, but the book also connected me to a TV show um, about the Vietnam.
Yeah, tour of duty. Yeah, no, I
The
was too
tour.
busy blabbing about myself. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So we watched that when we were kids. It was, I don't remember which channel it was on, but it was a show that we were able to either see in French or in English, and we were, if it was the French VO, like a voiceover, then we would have had the English subtitles. And that's also how I discovered the Rolling Stone, because the show always started with that song from the Rolling Stone. I forgot, but it was a really good show. I if had ever like did someone see or watch that show, Tour of Duty?
No, I thought that was
I
like a video game.
I know of it, but I've never watched it.
Yeah. So when I was listening to the book, I thought of that, images from that show that I had, popping up.
cool. I might check that out.
I don't know if it's some. Let me check if we can find it. So it was called in English tour. In French, it was called L'Enfer du Devoir.
Yeah, I had trouble with the double D's when I saw it written. Let's see. L'enfer du devoir.
Devoir. Bravo. So
Devoir.
apparently there is. I'm seeing here YouTube. Yeah, 1967. And then dislocations, that's when they get recruited, and then that's when they.
Cool. Share that to our whatchamacallit, our DM group so that we can
Yeah.
check it out
Oh,
over
yeah,
the
yeah,
phone.
yeah, absolutely.
I want to know what your reading goals are for 2026. I haven't really thought about mine yet, so I'm hoping to get some ideas. I wonder. I'm sure Hal's thought about his. Um, I'd like to hear what your reading goals are, so maybe we can support them.
My reading goal is to try to keep up better with book club books. I know it's
Mm,
simple, but
yeah, no, that's what I do. That's what I do. I do that, and I try to read one other book per month, but I think I might be behind.
oh, and to be inspired by all of you with the wonderful goals.
Yeah, exactly, because it's contagious, right? Once you know of a good book that other people are reading, you want to read that book. At least I do. I don't know if
Yeah, it makes me curious, right?
yes.
It's like,
Mhm.
I
yeah.
keep mine simple, and I don't normal, and I'm not usually the type of person to like set formal reading goals as many other people do. I'm gonna keep a nice balance of one fiction and one nonfiction, and also as well as keeping up with the book club books. Because I think I'm because I need a good mix of like a book that I'm reading for this plus a book that I'm reading just for personal leisure that I find at my own library while I'm working. Like like besides this book this month, I was also reading this cozy mystery novel called Ill-Fated Fortune by Chinese American author Jennifer J. Chow, who's based in Los Angeles.
Oh,
She is one of
cool.
my all-time favorite authors, and I'm trying to um get up to speed on this current series because she has a new novel coming out for the same series on January 27th. So things like that keep me like fresh and inspired because I don't just want to be reading a nonfiction book just for the sake of keeping up with BBC. Like when you read, you got to be well rounded. At least that's how I see it. I don't know about you guys.
I
Yeah, I
like that.
agree.
I like
Very
that.
much so. Yeah. For me, it'll be the 2026 goal is um, obviously to be able to finish every book with the VBC. Um,
Ooh, yeah.
I want, my goal is to really finish them, all of them. And then I would like to add two classic in French, like
Ooh.
old literature, or not necessarily old, but classic French literature. Two books for 2026. For example, I would love to read Celine. That's yeah, and then one self
Like
improvement.
Celine Dion or
No, no, Celine, the author, the French author.
oh, okay. I
I'll
don't.
send you. I'll send you a book. I'll send you a title. But yeah, so two French book, finish all of the VBC book, and then one self improvement.
Ooh,
I
well,
like that.
I mean, a lot of the VBC books are self-improvement. I would
It's true, but it's, I think, like, I'm thinking of Brené Brown, for example.
yeah, you should ask Hal about Brene Brown.
Let's let's not. Did you read Mel Robbins' book, Aura?
Oh yeah.
Let
Oh
Them
no,
Theory?
I'm following her on LinkedIn. I'm following her on Instagram, but I've never read the books.
I don't know if you read any books on Kindle, but I think it's like $1.99 or $2.99 on Kindle right now.
Oh, the
It
Let
might
Them
be on sale on Audible too, but you know, I mean, yes, it's very she's very popular, and because of her popularity, the book has been on the bestseller lists for a long time. But it is a worthwhile read. I would not have read it. My wife read it, and she said, I think you should read this too. So I did, because I always say yes, man, yes, dear.
And so you
Yes,
prefer you
of
prefer
course. Of course, you're the
you prefer
perfect
those to
husband.
Brené Brown.
Well, the one and only Brene Brown book I read, we did in book club, and it was Dare to Lead.
Oh
And
yeah.
because the expectations were so high, I was extremely disappointed.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
The
But that,
expectations of her.
yeah, because I think it was just too commonsensical. And
Mm,
Yeah.
some people have said that it was a lot of repeat from some of her other books.
Yeah, Dare to
mm.
be vulnerable or something like that. That was the first one I read. But I saw that she published a new one. I saw that at the airport, and that intrigued me.
Was
Um,
newer than Atlas of the Heart?
I don't remember. I need to check which one I saw at the airport the other day.
Okay, yeah, like I gobble up her common sense.
Me too.
I gobble it all up because it's like reminders. It's like
Exactly. It's more of a
it's
reminder.
more of a reminders like of common sense because I don't know, and I don't want to generalize, but if maybe it's women who like have trouble, taking care of ourselves as much as we take care of others. But yeah, no, her common sense reminders really are good reminders
Yeah.
because I feel like I fall into that trap of trying to do things that are hurtful to myself, but good for other people.
Yeah, I mean, the
I
let them theory, the basic premise is that um, we as humans, think we can control other people, and we let what other people do affect us,
Mhm.
and usually not in a good way. And it really is, about let other people be who they are. You can't change them, you can't control them, and get on with life. So it is commonsensical, but there's a lot of good reminders built into it. In
That
my
reminds me of the world played chess.
Yeah.
Hey, Aura, have you read on the French classics? You just sparked me because I'm halfway through a translated version of a classic that I picked up a while ago and I haven't read it. But I can't do it in French. I probably could, but I'd butcher it. But the English translation is Dangerous Liaisons or Dangerous something.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I'm like
Yes.
I'm halfway through that one. It's quite interesting. It's kind of like a Bridgerton style. So, I don't know.
Completely. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Fun.
absolutely. Liaison dangereuse.
See, I would have butchered it. It's in front of me, and I was like using Google Translate. I'm like, yeah,
Liaison
I'm not going there anymore.
Dangereuse.
Did you
done.
find it at your library?
Les liaisons dangereuses. I don't
There
know.
you go.
Actually, you know what? I ordered it intentionally as a classic. I got into one of those things where I was just like, I want to read some classic literature, blah blah blah, and then I found the English translation of it and got it. And I usually only take a hard cut, like a regular book with me when I travel. I tend to do a good job with that. but
Oh,
I
the Revenge of the Tipping Point.
yeah. Oh.
That's my book that I'm reading outside of the book club because
Nice.
Malcolm Gladwell. I mean, remember what a success the Tipping Point was?
Yeah.
This is 25 years later, and he's like, "Should I just do an add-on to that?" And he was like, "No, I'm going to talk about like the current headlines." So I'm like, "Wow." It's
Benita, what book was that? I
happening.
couldn't see from my screen.
The
It's
Revenge
happening all
Revenge of
over
the Tipping
again.
Point.
of the Tipping Point.
You have to be able to read backwards too.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
The
okay.
Revenge of the Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he was kind of like the first author that brought like macroeconomics to the regular population,
Yeah.
in ways
Yeah.
that we could understand bigger picture
Hush Puppy
things.
stories.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else want to share what they're currently reading besides their book club read?
I got 4 other ones going at the same time. So
Yeah. How's
Which ones?
yeah.
see if I can do it from memory. The Richard Bachman's My Friends, which has been on the bestseller list for quite some time. That's a fiction. This book by Alan Gratz called Refugee. And it is one that is approachable as an adult, but is one of the highly recommended books for teens to read. And it's a story of 3 different vignettes of refugee situations through the eyes of a child. So someone leaving Nazi Germany in the 40s, someone leaving communist Cuba in the 60s, and someone leaving Syria, during the Syrian conflicts, and their refugee stories trying to emigrate somewhere else through the eyes of a child.
I would love to read that. Please share that in our group.
Yeah, well, I'm about halfway through, and then there are a couple of Kindle books I got going too. So yeah, I'm not going to set. I didn't really have a significant goal in 2024, and I managed to read 86 books. So I figured, you know what, continuous improvement. So I'm going to go for some crazy number and try to do 100. And I am got 108 done, and I might get 4 more done before the end of this month.
Wow.
Good for you.
So 2026, I'm not going to set a number goal because, if I just keep doing what I'm doing, but I've talked about it before, I'm walking, 4 to 6 miles a day, and, that's my audible reading time. So I can get through on average, depending on the length, almost a book a week, just doing that. So that's 50 books in a year. Just doing,
That's called bundling. How you're getting all your things in one, and I need to learn from you and bundle books instead of trash television, and I would have a much better because I'm at 120,000 meters on my rower, but it's because I like to watch really yucky stuff. Like I watch terrible trash television, but it seems to
where
give
are
me an
you on
outlet.
your whatchamacallit, your
Rowing?
yes, you're rowing.
So I've surpassed the 100,000 meters that you have to have to be considered completing the bigger challenge. And I am now trudging towards, if I row every day between now and Christmas Eve, I will have hit 200,000 meters, which is it's like the second level goal that's in the challenge. And I think I get a pin if I do that. Not that I need a pin,
Wow.
but
I
I was
can't wait to
thinking,
see your pin.
I don't know, right? It's like, so it's 10,000 meters a day to break even. And last year I did 106,000. So now I'm at 120 and just running for it, going for broke. So we'll see what happens.
Okay,
Nice.
well, we're
Nice.
signing off from Vermont, Florida, California. Are you in California right now, Aura?
Yes.
And New York and Canada.
So pick
I mean,
some dates, Anita, for January so we get them on our calendars.
oh, right. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll do that right away. And then I'll communicate that through our group. If anyone watching would like to join that group so you get the inside scoop and the studio link, then let us know. And
Sweet.
we'll see you in the next year.
Merry Christmas, Happy
Merry
Hanukkah,
Christmas.
Happy
Happy
Kwanzaa,
Hanukkah.
Happy New Year, and all
Happy
of that.
holidays, all my friends.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays and merry
Joyeuses
everything.
fêtes.
Yeah, everything. Yes. Bye, guys.
Okay,
Bye.
bye
Bye.
now.
Bye.